Okay guys, it's time to do this video, and this video is about loss of sex drive. Okay, let me tell you a quick story, okay? And this is in the year 1999, and I'll get to the juicy parts in a second, okay? 1999, I was working for a furniture store as a sales assistant, and this was years before I developed intrusive thoughts. And I'm on the shop floor, and this woman comes in, and at the time I was about 29, 30 years old, and she comes into the store, and this woman is in like her late 40s. She had a mini skirt on, hell of a girl, right? She was a sales representative, and she walked straight up to me, okay? She walked straight up to me, and she said to me, "You're a man that suffers with anxiety." And I thought, whoa, we got some serious fortune telling shit going on here. And I said to her, how do you know? She said, well, in my last job, I was a counsellor. I was in the mental health field. And she said, you know, I can tell by your eyes. And I said, how can you tell by my eyes? And she said, well, once you've had the training, she said, you know. But she said to me, do you feel like you're juggling too many things at once? And I said, yes, because I was in a really bad place at the time. And she said, she said, do you have problems in the bedroom? And at the time, I was going out with a girl. And yeah, I was on a down cycle. I was, you know, I didn't have Puro at the time, or at least I didn't have the intrusive thought part of it. And I was just suffered with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. I was sleeping on a V-shaped cushion because I couldn't even turn my neck. And I said, yes. I said, I'm having problems down there at the moment. And she said, you know, it's a common thing, you know. But what I'm trying to get through to you here is that even normal people can lose their sex drive, okay? When I say normal, I mean we're all normal, but people who are not OCD, okay? Anxiety and sex do not mix, okay? Now, I've said this before, but I mean, if a crocodile was chasing you, or a bull in a field, and you were running away from this bull, do you think you could get aroused while being chased by this animal? Well, no, because your body's in a state of fight or flight. And with anxiety, your attention becomes fragmented. It's almost like trying to watch, at least it was for me anyway, watching 12 television screens all at the same time and demanding that I absorb every TV and all the information on every TV absolutely perfectly. You can't do it. You know, when your attention is split into different segments, you know, you're not here in the present moment. Okay, so that's anxiety alone. That's even without OCD. Okay, so let's go to OCD people, HOCD people, and this, you know, lack of sex drive. Okay, let's take a basic example. Somebody has an intrusive thought. Okay, doesn't last very long, split second. Then they spend copious amounts of time trying to figure it out, okay? Trying to figure it out. Why did I have that thought? What does this thought mean? You know, you're constantly searching for an answer, okay? And I don't want to go down the rumination road all the time, but I do feel it's relevant to talk about it here, okay? Because I believe that most Puro cases, the bulk of it, I believe anyway, maybe I'm wrong, is rumination. Okay, so you're ruminating constantly. I believe, and this is totally unscripted, I'm just talking here with you, okay, that rumination is a libido killer. Okay? If you didn't have OCD and you couldn't get it up one night with a chick or whatever, and you worried about it and worried about it and worried about it, guess what? It's never going to happen. Did you ever see 8 Mile with Eminem at the beginning? He choked on stage. And for most of the film, he kind of worried about it. And in the end, he found the solution. He didn't give a fuck. And he went on stage in the end and put on a good show. If you try to remember where your keys are and you really try to force it, what happens? You won't find the keys. Or you won't remember where the keys are. If you try to go to sleep and force yourself to go to sleep, what happens? You stay awake. And rumination, in its own kind of way, in my opinion, it's kind of like a complaint department. You know, by ruminating, you're kind of complaining to the brain. You're saying this shouldn't be happening, this shouldn't be happening, trying to work it out, trying to work it out, trying to work it out. Rumination causing anxiety, and the brain will obviously push back. And especially on that subject of forcing. If you consciously interfere with an unconscious process, it's like putting a spanner in a machine. It'll stop. I would say what you need to do in order to get your sex drive back, okay, is first to give yourself permission to have no sex drive. Okay? Let that sink in for a second. Give yourself permission. Right? I'll give you an example of this, quick example, because I'm going to make this video very short. Donkeys years and years ago, you know, back in probably the mid 20th century, there was a therapist called Milton Erickson. And there was a middle-aged couple come to see him, and they were both wet in the bed. Believe it or not, they were, okay, apparently. And as part of the treatment, because they couldn't stop and they really wanted to stop, and they were trying to force themselves to stop and they couldn't, what he told them to do was every night before going to bed, piss all over the bed. The two of them. So they'd piss over the bed and they'd get into bed. And they did that for a week or two, and within no time, it stopped. Why? Because they give themselves permission. They give themselves permission to pee over the bed. So it's kind of like paradoxical effort. Once they give themselves permission, it stopped. So give yourself permission not to have any sex drive, okay? Second of all, stop forcing it. The more you force it, the more you'll choke. Okay? Third, and most importantly, I'm not jumping on the Michael Greenberg bandwagon per se. I don't actually think at this moment in time anyway that rumination is the result of all anxiety, but I do believe it's the result of, 70 or 80% of anxiety. It's a large chunk, I believe, anyway, okay? And I know that from my own personal life. Learn to stop ruminating, okay? Now, Dr. Greenberg has got articles which I'll post below, which I've already done in several videos anyway, and he uses a broader version of rumination. I mean, I think he sort of uses... There's certain mental compulsions that we do. We review the past and so on and so forth. And I think he put some of those compulsions under one umbrella of rumination. But that's the broad version. My version of rumination is analysing and trying to figure out. Anyway, what you need to do is to learn to stop ruminating. Okay? Because the more you ruminate, the more the brain will push back against you. And... the the sex drive will have a harder time coming back as long as you're dwelling on things. You know, let me say something very simple. I like chocolate, okay? I like chocolate cookies. Love cookies, you know, like Homer Simpson. Cookies, okay? But if I thought about cookies and thought about cookies and thought about cookies and thought about cookies all the time, I'd make myself sick just thinking about it, okay? The mind needs to take a mental break. We need a mental break in order to operate properly, okay? So give yourself permission, okay? Stop forcing things. If I got no sex drive, I got no sex drive. That's too damn bad. And third, learn to stop ruminating. And you can begin that by just stop analysing things. Stop mentally reviewing things, if you want to put that under the umbrella of rumination, and stop trying to figure out why you got no sex drive. Stop trying to figure out when it's going to come back. Take a complete mental break from it. So once again, I'm going to post those articles underneath. And, you know, loss of attraction is a thing. It's a thing in OCD. Am I trying to reassure you? Am I saying, well, you're definitely not gay or you definitely are gay? I'm not telling you anything. I'm just telling you the way I think OCD operates. Anyway, this was only a quick video. Take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.